They expected primitive soldiers. Earth's first contact strike broke galactic protocols, HFY Sci-Fi. The sky above Earth darkened one morning as massive shadows appeared against the sun. Cities across the world paused, their inhabitants looking upward in fear and awe. The shadows were enormous ships, larger than anything humans had ever seen, floating silently in Earth's orbit. At first, people thought it was a meteor shower or some natural phenomenon, but the precision and size of the objects soon revealed a far greater truth. Earth was not alone. For the first time, the galaxy had come to visit. The ships belonged to the Illyrians, a species that had traveled the stars for millennia. Their civilization had strict rules for first contact. They surveyed a planet, assessed its people, and either protected it or eliminated it based on its potential threat to galactic order. Earth, according to their records, was primitive, a backwater planet with scattered tribes that had just begun to explore space. The Illyrians expected minimal resistance, if any. They believed this mission would be routine. Inside the United Nations Orbital Command Station, alarms rang and lights flashed. Commander Rael Morno, a veteran of Earth's space defense program, watched the alien fleet through reinforced observation panels. He did not panic, though the situation was dire. Humanity had prepared for this moment, quietly and in secret, for decades. While the Illyrians assumed Earth was primitive, humans had been quietly advancing their technology, developing stealth ships, experimental weapons, and AI-assisted defense systems. Most of the world did not know how prepared they truly were. Morno turned to his team. "They think we are primitive. They think we can be ignored. That is our advantage," he said calmly. The room was tense, filled with scientists, military officers, and intelligence analysts. They had studied every record of alien civilizations they could access, and the Illyrians' patterns were clear. They valued strict protocol over improvisation. That rigidity was humanity's opportunity. On the ground, soldiers prepared quietly. Among them was Captain Arya Vance, a young officer known for her quick thinking and daring strategies. She moved among her unit, checking equipment and reviewing plans. Her team was small but highly trained. They were not just soldiers, they were tacticians, engineers, and pilots. Each one had been trained to think beyond conventional warfare. The Illyrians began their initial survey. Tiny drones scanned Earth's surface, moving silently, mapping cities, communication hubs, and military installations. From their orbit, the aliens expected to see primitive defenses, scattered guns, outdated technology, uncoordinated forces. What they did not expect was the advanced cloaking technology that concealed Earth's true capabilities. Their sensors passed over major military bases without detecting the advanced systems hidden beneath. Captain Vance watched the alien drones through the command center's interface. She noticed patterns in their movements, predictable rotations, consistent timing, and adherence to strict scanning protocols. "They follow the book too closely," she said to her second-in-command, Lieutenant Rajan. "If we exploit that, we can control the fight before it starts. We improvise." The world below watched as news channels broadcast images of the alien fleet. Fear spread quickly. Governments prepared emergency protocols. Yet, amid the fear, a sense of pride and determination emerged. Humanity was standing at the edge of the galaxy for the first time, and the people knew that this moment would define the future. In the command center, Vance's team reviewed their mission. "Our objective is the communications hub in the alien fleet," she explained. "If we disable it, we disrupt their coordination. We need to move fast and we need to be invisible. They do not understand humans yet. They believe we are predictable. That is our advantage. We must strike like lightning and vanish before they know what happened." No one had faced an enemy like this before. The Illyrians were technologically advanced, and one misstep could mean annihilation. Yet the soldiers did not hesitate. They trusted their training, their strategy, and each other. As the hours passed, the Illyrians began to descend closer, sending larger observation craft into Earth's atmosphere. Their scanners penetrated deeper, probing cities and military sites. On the surface, small groups of soldiers moved in secret, coordinating with orbital units. Humans had created false heat signatures, holographic projections, and decoys that mimicked military activity. The aliens, expecting slow, primitive reactions, were momentarily confused. Captain Vance and her team moved into position. Their ships, small and agile, slipped through orbital debris and the shadows of larger alien vessels. Cloaked from sensors, they approached the communications hub, a massive structure at the center of the Illyrian fleet. Each movement was calculated, each maneuver precise. Human creativity and risk-taking allowed them to navigate areas no conventional military doctrine would allow. Inside the alien fleet, commanders noticed anomalies. Sensors indicate interference, one said, his voice calm but tense. Possible primitive sabotage. The Illyrians could not comprehend the methods humans were using. Their protocols assumed any civilization they encountered would be predictable. Humans were not. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and daring. The strike team made their final approach. Captain Vance gave a quiet command, and their drones launched, small and nearly invisible. They disabled shielding systems, created false signals, and opened a path for the main unit to enter. The Illyrians scrambled, trying to respond, but their strict adherence to protocol slowed them. Every movement was calculated, every action bound by rules. Humans, on the other hand, had no such constraints. They acted, adapted, and overcame obstacles in real time. Back on Earth, the world held its breath. For the first time, people realized that humans were not defenseless. The alien fleet, immense and terrifying, faced resistance that no one had expected. Cities lit up as satellite feeds transmitted the unfolding operation. Humanity watched its soldiers perform feats of courage and ingenuity, and for a moment, fear turned into pride. Captain Vance's team reached the hub and deployed their devices. Sparks flew, energy shields flickered, and alarms rang within the Illyrian fleet. The hub, central to the alien communication network, began to fail. The aliens, confused and alarmed, did not immediately retaliate. They could not predict the human strategy, and the first strike succeeded without direct confrontation. Vance reported back to Commander Morno. Hub disabled, communication network disrupted. They're slower to respond than expected. Our window is open. Morno allowed himself a small smile. Well done. This is only the beginning. Humanity has shown it is not to be underestimated. Remember that. We fight not with fear, but with intelligence, strategy, and courage. What they had assumed would be a minor operation had become a complex challenge. As the night fell on Earth, the alien fleet hovered above, still massive, still intimidating, but now uncertain. Humanity had demonstrated that it was far from primitive. Soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike looked up at the sky, united in a shared realization. Earth was ready to defend itself, and humans had the courage and intelligence to face even the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Captain Vance stood on the observation deck, looking out at the alien ships. Her team was exhausted but alive, and their mission had succeeded beyond expectations. "They think we are primitive," she said quietly. "Let them think that. We will show them what it truly means to be human." The Illyrians expected simple soldiers, predictable resistance, and primitive strategies. Instead, they found humans who could think, adapt, and fight with ingenuity. Earth's first strike was only the beginning, but it had already broken expectations, shattered assumptions, and shown the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The sky remained dark with alien ships, but Earth's people no longer felt powerless. They had learned something vital. Courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome fear and uncertainty. Humanity had taken its first step onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never see them as primitive again. The alien fleet above Earth remained enormous and silent, its presence both a threat and a challenge. Captain Arya Vance stood on the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the shadowy outlines of Illyrian ships against the stars. The first strike had succeeded in disrupting the alien communications hub, but she knew the fight was far from over. The Illyrians were regrouping. Their strict protocols slowed them, but they were not helpless, and every second counted. "Status report," Vance demanded. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Rajan, scanned the screens with rapid precision. Sensors indicate they are attempting to restore communication. Shield levels are fluctuating, but we have created openings. Our drones remain undetected in several key sectors. Let's show them we are not. Every move was calculated to show humans' capacity for planning, ingenuity, and courage. On Earth, civilians watched broadcasts of the alien fleet and the small but effective countermeasures humanity had launched. Fear lingered, but pride began to replace it. People realized that humans were not merely fighting to survive, they were fighting with strategy and intelligence. It was a lesson the entire planet needed. Humanity had strength beyond brute force and courage beyond fear. The human strike team launched from hidden orbital docks. Their ships were small, fast, and cloaked. Vance's voice echoed through their communications. "Stay sharp. They will expect conventional maneuvers. Don't give them that. Move unpredictably, strike precisely, and retreat before they understand what's happening." They believed brute force or overwhelming strength could quickly reveal the humans' weaknesses. They were wrong. Vance's team moved like shadows through the gaps in the alien fleet. Small drones separated from their ships, weaving through massive structures. They disabled secondary communication nodes, cut power to minor control systems, and left the Illyrians scrambling to understand what had happened. Every strike was precise, every maneuver carefully calculated to create maximum disruption with minimal exposure. One of the drones, guided by Lieutenant Rajan, intercepted an Illyrian surveillance craft. Using a combination of magnetic pulses and solar interference, it temporarily disabled the alien ship's sensors. "We're inside their blind spots," Rajan reported. "They can't see us coming." Humans are not predictable, and they will learn that the hard way. One ship nearly collided with a floating fragment of metal, but the pilot adjusted instantly, weaving the vessel away from danger. The Illyrians watched in confusion as the humans disappeared, only to strike again elsewhere. Captain Vance smiled. They expected soldiers who follow orders. They didn't expect thinkers. They didn't expect humans. Her words echoed through the squad's comms, reinforcing morale. Every member understood that this was not just a fight, it was a message. Humanity was declaring its presence, its intelligence, and its courage to the galaxy. The mission's climax came as the team approached the central control ship of the Illyrian fleet. It was larger than all the others, imposing and heavily shielded. Vance's team coordinated carefully, splitting into smaller units to attack multiple weak points simultaneously. One team disabled energy shields, another disrupted propulsion systems, while a third created diversions, drawing Illyrian attention away from the main strike. Vance herself led the final push. Her ship, equipped with advanced AI guidance and stealth technology, slipped past the last layer of defense. She deployed a specialized device designed to interfere with the alien ship's navigation system. Sparks of energy lit up the surrounding space as the device engaged. The Illyrians were caught off guard, their calculations thrown into chaos by the humans' unpredictable actions. Inside the control ship, alien commanders attempted to respond. "We are being compromised," one exclaimed. "Deploy countermeasures." But every move they made was anticipated by the humans. Vance's team adapted instantly, using speed, agility, and strategy that defied the aliens' expectations. Every procedure the Illyrians followed, every rule they obeyed was exploited. Humans acted freely, creatively, and boldly. The result was immediate. The central ship lost stability, energy flows fluctuated, and key communication lines failed. The fleet, which had once moved with disciplined coordination, began to falter. Confusion spread through the Illyrian ranks. Ships collided in space, energy weapons fired at empty voids, and patrol drones chased shadows. The humans had done what the Illyrians considered impossible. They had disrupted a massive fleet without relying on sheer power. Back on Earth, the world erupted with celebration when news of the strike spread. Humans had faced an advanced alien civilization and succeeded. Fear remained, but it was tempered by awe and pride. Humanity had proven that courage, intelligence, and strategy could triumph over raw technological superiority. The young captain, Arya Vance, became a symbol of ingenuity and bravery. Despite the success, Vance knew the battle was not over. The aliens were regrouping and would eventually respond. The first strike had demonstrated humanity's capabilities, but the next moves would require even greater creativity and courage. She gathered her team. "We've shown them we are not primitive." That was the message. "Now we prepare for their response. They will adapt, but we will be ready. Humans do not back down. Humans learn. Humans survive." The strike team returned to their hidden base, exhausted but triumphant. They had moved as one, thought as one, and acted as one, demonstrating the human qualities that no alien algorithm could predict. Captain Vance reviewed the mission data, noting every detail of the operation, every successful maneuver, every failure avoided. Humanity had not merely survived, it had sent a clear and undeniable message. The Illyrians, meanwhile, began internal discussions. They had expected predictable soldiers, mindless resistance, and primitive tactics. Instead, they encountered humans who could analyze, adapt, and act decisively under pressure. They had broken expectations, shattered assumptions, and challenged the very protocols that guided their civilization. For the first time, the Illyrians recognized that underestimating a species could be a dangerous mistake. Captain Vance looked out at the stars one last time that night. The alien ships glimmered in the distance, a reminder of the vast challenge ahead. Humanity had taken the first step, a bold strike that defied expectations. The Illyrians had learned that humans could not be predicted, contained, or dismissed. Earth had entered the galactic stage not with fear but with courage and intelligence. "Tomorrow we continue," Vance said softly to herself. "We will adapt. We will survive. We will show them what it truly means to be human." But humanity had sent a message that would echo across the stars. Intelligence, bravery, and adaptability could triumph over seemingly insurmountable odds. In the silence of space, small human ships glided among alien shadows, invisible and undetected. They were proof of a species that could rise, fight, and think in ways no other civilization expected. Humanity had survived the first contact strike. Humanity had proven that being underestimated was their greatest advantage, and humanity had only just begun. The silence in space after the first strike was only temporary. The Illyrians, shaken by humanity's unexpected ingenuity, began regrouping. Their fleet, once orderly and disciplined, moved with cautious uncertainty. Alien commanders debated strategies, their rigid protocols slowing every decision. Earth's small but clever strike had disrupted their network and forced them to reconsider their assumptions about humans. They had expected weak, predictable resistance, but instead, they faced intelligent, adaptive opponents. On Earth, Captain Arya Vance studied the latest reports in the Orbital Command Center. "They are reorganizing," she said, her voice calm but tense. "We need to anticipate their next move. They will strike back and we must be ready. This is where strategy becomes survival. If they succeed, our satellites and stations could be at risk." Their plan was not to meet the Illyrians head-on with brute force, but to outthink them at every turn. Small teams of elite pilots and engineers coordinated attacks while simultaneously creating diversions. AI-guided drones spread across the battlefield, sending false signals, masking human movements, and creating confusion in the alien fleet. The Illyrians launched their counterstrike with massive energy weapons aimed at Earth's orbital defenses. The planet's protective shields, developed in secret over decades, absorbed some of the energy, but minor stations were damaged. The aliens expected Earth's military to crumble under their superior firepower. Instead, human ships appeared in unexpected locations, striking at the edges of the fleet. Captain Vance led one of the key strike teams, flying a small, agile ship equipped with advanced cloaking and precision weapons. Her objective was the Alien Energy Cannon, a massive weapon capable of destroying orbital stations and satellites. To reach it, she had to navigate a minefield of sensors, patrol drones, and automated defenses. "Stay focused," she instructed her crew. "They rely on rules, patterns, and order. We rely on creativity, speed, and courage. Remember, every move they predict, we change. Every expectation, we defy." That is how humans survive. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Rajan coordinated another team that attacked the fleet's communication lines. Using electromagnetic pulses and clever decoys, the humans further disrupted the aliens' ability to coordinate their counterstrike. Ships began firing at empty space, energy weapons malfunctioned, and drones collided as confusion spread through the fleet. Inside the alien flagship, panic began to set in. Commanders shouted over communications channels, struggling to respond to unexpected failures. "These humans are unpredictable," one exclaimed. "Our calculations fail against them. They are not following logic. They are adapting." The aliens had mastered strategy over millennia, but their reliance on strict rules made them vulnerable to improvisation. Captain Vance exploited this fully. Her team switched targets, altered attack patterns, and used natural phenomena such as magnetic storms and asteroid clusters to mask their actions. Every decision was fluid, unpredictable, and effective. As Vance's ship approached the energy cannon, she calculated the final approach. "Rajan, prep the override device. This is our chance to disrupt the main weapon permanently. Precision is everything. One mistake and we risk annihilation. Let's make history." Shields faltered, energy readings fluctuated, and alarms rang across the fleet. The Illyrians scrambled. Automated defense systems fired, but they missed the human ship entirely. Vance's team had predicted every response, moving with precision and agility. The energy cannon, once the centerpiece of the alien counterstrike, was neutralized. The humans had turned the tables, using intelligence, speed, and adaptability to neutralize a far more powerful weapon. Back on Earth, people watched in disbelief and pride as reports confirmed the success. Humanity had faced an advanced alien species and survived, not through overwhelming force, but through creativity, strategy, and teamwork. Soldiers and civilians alike felt a new sense of confidence. Humans were not primitive. Humans could think, adapt, and act where others relied solely on technology or rules. The alien fleet, shaken by the loss of their energy cannon, attempted a full retreat to reorganize. Yet Captain Vance's team was relentless. Using a combination of drones, small strike ships, and calculated diversions, humans pressed their advantage, striking at weak points and continuing to disrupt communication and coordination. The Illyrians, for all their technology, could not respond effectively. Their rigid systems, once their strength, had become their weakness. Inside the fleet, alien commanders began to realize the magnitude of the problem. "These humans, they are not like any species we have encountered," one said quietly. "They think, they adapt, they take risks we never considered. They are extraordinary." The goal was not to annihilate, but to demonstrate humanity's intelligence and capability. Each move was a lesson to the Illyrians. Humans were not to be underestimated. As the battle continued, Vance coordinated with Earth's orbital defense network. Satellites, AI systems, and hidden drones all worked in unison, creating a web of deception, defense, and attack. Every system, every maneuver, Every strike was a reminder that humans could fight as a unified, intelligent force. The climax of the counterstrike came when Vance's team infiltrated the alien fleet's central navigation core. Using stealth and strategy, they deployed devices that disrupted propulsion systems and created false navigational data. Ships collided and veered off course, causing chaos without any human casualties. The Illyrians, despite their experience and technology, could not regain control. Every predictable move had been exploited. Every expectation had been subverted. Finally, the alien fleet began to retreat. Confusion, disruption, and the demonstration of human ingenuity had forced the Illyrians to withdraw temporarily. They had not been defeated, but they had learned a vital lesson. Humans were not primitive. Humans were adaptable, intelligent, and courageous. The strict protocols that governed their civilization had been challenged and found vulnerable. Captain Vance returned to the orbital command station, exhausted but triumphant. Her team had accomplished what no one had expected. They had not only survived but had demonstrated humanity's ability to outthink a far superior opponent. She looked at the data feeds, showing the damage to the alien fleet and the success of their strategies. "Humanity has proven itself," Vance said softly. "We've shown the galaxy that courage, intelligence, and adaptability are just as important as technology. They will remember this. We will not be underestimated again." Humanity had survived its first major galactic challenge, and had done so in a way that no other species could predict or comprehend. Even as the Illyrians regrouped, humans were prepared. Captain Vance and her team analyzed every action, every response, and every outcome. They knew the aliens would return, but humanity had already proven its resilience. Every soldier, every pilot, every engineer understood that they had done more than fight. They had redefined what it meant to be human in the galaxy. Captain Vance stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The alien fleet was gone for now, but the lessons remained. Humans had survived through creativity, strategy, and courage. They had shown that even a species considered primitive could outthink and outmaneuver the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. "This is only the beginning," Vance said quietly. "We will adapt, we will survive, and when they return, we will be ready. Humanity has learned its strength, and the galaxy will never forget it." And they had done it not with raw power, but with ingenuity, teamwork, and the courage to defy expectations. The galaxy had taken notice, and humanity's reputation was beginning to grow. Humans were no longer a primitive species waiting in the corner of the universe. They were thinkers, strategists, and survivors. They had faced an advanced civilization and had shown that intelligence, adaptability, and courage could overcome even the most formidable foes. Captain Vance and her team knew the challenge was far from over, but they had proven a vital truth. Humans could stand among the stars, not as weak or primitive, but as strong, capable, and endlessly inventive. The Illyrians would return, but the humans would be ready. And when the next battle came, the galaxy would see again that humanity was unlike any other species it had ever encountered. The aftermath of the counterstrike left the alien fleet scattered, confused, and cautious. For the first time, the Illyrians realized that humans were not primitive or predictable. Their assumptions about Earth had been shattered, and the galaxy's rigid protocols could not account for the ingenuity and courage of a species that refused to be underestimated. On Earth, Captain Arya Vance reviewed reports from the orbital command station. Every action, every strike, and every disruption had been meticulously documented. The humans had survived against overwhelming odds, and the Illyrians' retreat was a testament to their success. Yet, Vance knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would remember humanity now, and humans had to be ready for whatever came next. "Prepare for first contact," Vance said to her team. "We've shown them what we can do. Now we need to communicate that we are not a threat, but we are capable of defending ourselves. Respect is earned, and we have earned it." Their ships moved cautiously, and their communication signals carried both curiosity and wariness. This was unprecedented. No species had ever demonstrated such cleverness, courage, and adaptability in their first contact. The Illyrians approached with respect this time, aware that underestimating humans could be a fatal mistake. When the alien envoys arrived in orbit, Earth's leaders prepared to meet them. Captain Vance and her team were present, representing humanity's military and strategic capabilities. The Illyrians expected fear, uncertainty, and submission. Instead, they found a species confident in its abilities, prepared to negotiate as equals and proud of its achievements. The meeting was tense but respectful. The Illyrians spoke of protocols, order, and experience, acknowledging that Earth had exceeded all expectations. "We assumed this planet was primitive," one envoy admitted. "We were wrong. Your species demonstrates intelligence, courage, and creativity beyond what our records suggested. We now see that humans cannot be underestimated. We are not here to challenge your civilization, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Humanity has always adapted, learned, and grown. We hope to join the galaxy in a way that brings understanding, not conflict. But know this, we will never be passive in the face of threats." Their ability to combine intelligence, courage, and adaptability had turned a potential threat into a species worthy of respect. For the first time, the Illyrians considered Earth not as a primitive world to be catalogued or eliminated, but as a planet with potential allies, strategists, and thinkers. Back on Earth, the people celebrated. News broadcasts detailed humanity's success in defending their planet, highlighting not only bravery but strategy, teamwork, and ingenuity. Captain Vance's team became symbols of human resilience and intelligence. Schools, communities, and leaders everywhere spoke of how humans had faced overwhelming odds and proven that courage, creativity, and unity could achieve the impossible. Despite the celebrations, Vance and her team remained vigilant. The galaxy was vast, and the Illyrians were only one of many civilizations. Lessons had been learned, and humanity had grown stronger. Every satellite, every AI system, every trained soldier and pilot was now part of a network ready to respond to future threats. The aliens extended an offer of dialogue and cooperation. While their technology was far superior, they were willing to share knowledge selectively, impressed by humanity's ability to innovate under pressure. Earth accepted cautiously, understanding that trust would take time, but valuing the opportunity to learn and prepare for the future. Captain Vance reflected on the journey. Humanity had faced the unknown, survived against superior technology, and demonstrated that intelligence and courage could triumph where others relied on rules or brute force. The Illyrians had expected simple soldiers, predictable tactics, and a primitive society. Instead, they had encountered humans who could think, adapt, and act decisively. In the following weeks, humans and Illyrians worked together to stabilize relations. Scientists, engineers, and strategists collaborated to share knowledge while maintaining safety protocols. Humans learned advanced principles of energy manipulation, navigation, and communication. The Illyrians learned that creativity, improvisation, and boldness were equally powerful forces in the galaxy. Captain Vance oversaw the training of new teams, preparing Earth for the future. The first strike, the counterstrike, and the negotiation had shown that humanity's strength was not just in technology, but in ingenuity, teamwork, and courage. These were the qualities that would define humanity in the interstellar arena. One evening, standing on the observation deck, Vance looked at the stars. The alien fleet lingered beyond Earth's orbit, cautious but respectful. "We've made our mark," she said quietly. "The galaxy knows now that humans are not to be underestimated. We've defended our world, shown our intelligence, and proven our courage. This is only the beginning." They expected primitive soldiers. We gave them thinkers, innovators, and survivors. We create our own path. The Illyrians, returning to their territories, carried reports of Earth's remarkable capabilities. Their records were updated to reflect the new reality. Humans were not primitive. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and courageous. Every planet, every species in the galaxy that encountered Earth in the future would now approach with caution and respect. Captain Vance's team debriefed, analyzing every strike, every maneuver, and every decision. They celebrated, but they also prepared. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown civilizations and potential challenges. Humanity's first contact had been successful, but it was only the start of a much larger journey. In classrooms, students studied the tactics, innovations, and strategies used against the Illyrians. They learned that intelligence and courage were as powerful as weapons. Across the globe, people were inspired to innovate, think critically, and act boldly. Humanity had proven that even when facing overwhelming odds, courage, strategy, and teamwork could achieve the impossible. Captain Vance looked out at Earth one last time that day. The planet was safe, the alien fleet had retreated, and humanity's future among the stars was secure. "We have survived the first test," she said, "but there will be more. And when they come, we will be ready. Humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers, creators, and warriors. The galaxy will never underestimate us again." She knew that the first strike, the counterstrike, and the negotiations had proven something greater than victory in battle. Humanity had shown the galaxy that intelligence, creativity, and courage could shape destinies. The universe had taken note, and Earth was no longer a backwater planet. Humans had arrived on the galactic stage, and their place was now secure. The Illyrians would eventually return, as they always did when a new species showed potential. But they would return with respect, caution, and recognition of a force unlike any they had encountered. Humanity had rewritten the rules of first contact and had set a precedent that would echo across the stars for generations to come. Captain Vance looked once more at the distant alien fleet, now retreating into the darkness of space. "They expected primitive soldiers," she whispered. "They found humans, and humans will never stop rising, never stop learning, and never stop proving their strength. The galaxy will remember that." And they had one recognition, not through force alone, but through the uniquely human qualities that set them apart from every other species. The first contact was over, but humanity's journey had only just begun. The Illyrians had left with lessons learned, and Earth had gained a place in the galaxy that no one could ignore. Humanity had proven that being underestimated was not a weakness, it was the greatest advantage a species could have. And as Captain Vance looked to the stars, she knew one thing with certainty. The universe had met humanity, and it would never forget them.